Well, greetings and welcome back, Blade fans. Do I have a special one for you today or what? Yeah, you hear me saying that a lot. I guess I get excited about new knives no matter whether they're 50 bucks or $375, shall we say. So you can see that we have a Reate knife here, and by the thumbnail you already know what it is. I'm going to do what we'll call a faux unboxing because I've already taken this little beast out, and this way you can sort of get the experience, and I promise you I won't take too long so we can get to the meat of things here. Get a nice box with a magnetic flap. Inside you get this very nice Cordura pouch with Reate all over it, which is cool. We got a removable Velcro patch, and the only thing I don't really care for, if I'm getting nitpicky about the pouch, is that they use Velcro instead of a zipper like everybody else. So, although Concept doesn't use a zipper, they use a flap. But inside here, what we have, and I'm not going to take them out, basically is the requisite microfiber cloth and some extra screws, like 3 extra screws, which is nice. Doubt that I'm going to lose the screws, but there are no extra bushings or bearings in here. And here we have what I'm going to consider another one of my Grail knives. Let's see if we can get everything else out of the picture. Almost. There we go. Here we have the Kirby Lambert designed mini Crossroads by Reate. Let me give you a look around. Beautiful blue pivots, T8 on one side, branded here with the steel M390. It's a titanium handle with inset, in this case black micarta, and it's a beautiful micarta, and as with all Reate knives, the workmanship, shall we say, the manufacturing is perfect. You cannot feel any differential between the micarta and the titanium at all. And this has a nice almost wood grain to it when you get past the texture. Now this was the last that White Mountain had of the black micarta. There is a natural light brown wood looking micarta and a straight up brown micarta and a OD green micarta left. They are coming in around $375, so not a cheap knife, but again you get Reate construction and execution. Look at that clip point. Going to call it a reverse tanto? Sure, let's call it a reverse tanto. Not a worn cliff because, as you can see, we've got a nice gradual belly to the blade. And kind of the elephant in the room for me is, you guys know that I like large knives, and this is called a mini, but it's actually only about 2 or 3/10 of an inch shorter than the first Crossroads that came out. So it is not a small knife. I would call it a medium. It's only mini in relation to the first one that came out, and that one wasn't all that large. You'll see later when we measure it that this has about a 3.3-inch blade, which is not what you'd call small. I'd call small 3 inches and under, or even under 3 inches. But look at this floating backspacer that's been polished. So I believe that's a black anodized titanium that's on these little bushings, these little standoffs, and you could call it a bridged or floating or whatever you'd like backspacer, but it adds a very cool effect to the knife in that you've got that space on either side of it. Just one more way to tell you you've gotten your money's worth. So there's Kirby Lambert's interesting spider logo and his name. Check out the brushed satin finish on this, going two directions. So we've got horizontal on the flat and vertical on the grind, on both the swedge and the main grind. It is a pointy beast, but look at all that material you've got there. It is not delicate by any means. Just a superbly made knife. Frame lock. Call it a bolster lock because look what they did. We've got an inlay here as kind of a bolster. And you can see that when we disengage the frame, that we're able to close it obviously, but now that comes up almost flush in this area here, but it breaks away right there. So rather than having the full bolster doing that, we've got just this one little piece of the frame lock, and there's the relief for it. So action, as with any Reate, is extremely well tuned. Maybe even, I wouldn't really call it on the strong side. I think it's about right. Nice jimping right up on top of the flipper tab. Nothing on the front. So that's interesting. Can we push button it? Yeah, with a little bit of effort. More easily though, you can light switch it. Two screws holding this in place. And there was another YouTuber, and I'm sorry that I forgot the name of his channel. He disassembled this. You could probably look it up. Quite nice, and I wasn't sure if these were bushings or they were bearings, but they are bearings. They just do them so nice that they take up very little space. You see some knives with lots of space on either side of the blade when they use bushings because they're a little thicker for whatever reason. But that's the mini Crossroads, and we're going to measure it up. I say Grail because when I'm spending that kind of money, it's Grail. The other two have been like the Bastinelli Big Dragotac and the Stitch by Microtech. So we've got not quite 8 inches, we'll call it 7 3/4 overall. And we're a little over actually 3 1/4, so that's calling it 3.3 would be accurate. As for other dimensions, shall we travel into other dimensions? Sure. 4 millimeters on the nose. Handle is fairly thick, 0.62, but the caveat once again is well contoured, pretty well contoured, almost flat, but I mean, nothing feels like a hot spot on this knife. And look at the clip. Beautiful, modern, simple clip. Stonewashed, as is the rest of the titanium on the handle, all stonewashed. There's your lanyard pin. Really nice, hidden, out of the way. And I guess all we need to do now is take a weight. And this knife is not weight relieved. Show you that in a moment. So we've got still a modest 4.5 ounces, we'll call it 4.5 ounces. And this is my second Reate. The first Reate was the EXO, which is that gravity knife. Very interesting knife. There's a review up on my channel of that. Excellent action again. I mean, we, Reate, and probably Reich are right up there, and of course Bestech, all at the top of the game. But I think Reate is kind of edging them out, just known for this precision work in the final form of the design. It is absolutely perfect. And this is going to be a safe queen, probably. This, I don't want to sully this knife up. So, you know, it's going to be one to fidget with now and then, put in the showcase, what have you. Could it be a user? Absolutely. It's a stout knife. I mean, it is just like a fixed blade when it's open, as you would expect. Lockup is right around, what am I going to call that? Geez, only about 30% maybe. Not only, but I mean, that's good. It's a very good, strong tension on the lock bar. It does have an over travel stop. The question would be, and we were talking about weight relieving earlier too. So there is no weight relieving, and there's the proof. They did it all simply with the weight of the titanium. Whether or not there's any milling under the surface, I don't think so, underneath the handle slabs. And yeah, there's your 2 screws there for the insert. Now, I don't think, and would have to disassemble it to find out, I don't think there's a hardened steel insert. But what they do many times is the very end of the lock bar, they harden that titanium so that it doesn't gall against the steel, hardened steel blade. And that's M390, so you know you're going to be up there 60 Rockwell or better. Okay, so let's put that there for a moment and then quickly show you what the other ones look like. So there is the brown micarta. There is the natural micarta. Kind of interesting tone to it, if you like a lighter tone. And there is what looks like black is actually a green, OD green micarta. And they're all in stock as of today. So this is going to drop on May 26th of 2022. Just so you know, I'll post the link to Mini Crossroads at White Mountain Knives, and remember, you'll get an additional 10% off. So if these are $377, you'll get $37 off, bringing it down at least a little bit for you, below $350. But those other 3 colors are available. Justin asked me not to tell you that this one is available because this was his last one. They made 100 of each color, so this is one of 100. The strange thing being that there, as far as I can see, that are not serialized, but they're a limited edition. They made 100 of each color handle, and it looks like there's 4 color handles. Let's see what it looks like size-wise against the Griptilian. I think it's going to be kind of a Griptilian-sized knife. Actually, it's a little shorter. A little bit shorter than the Griptilian. Handle about the same as the Griptilian. So that's nice, and that's why you got plenty to hang on to. Griptilian also has about the same thickness to the handle. Then, if we bring out the Rat 1, that's going to be, you can see, wow, a good like 1 3/4 or so longer overall, and the blade certainly longer. So this is a bigger classification of knife. We're going to call that a large folder, and I'm really going to call this a medium folder, you know, because it's only mini again to the, and it sounds like I'm making excuses for the size, right? It's only mini in comparison to the original that came out, which was simply called the Crossroads, but which wasn't much bigger. That's maybe 3.5-inch blade, 3.6-inch blade at the most. You can look that one up. But just once again, check out the beautiful grinds on this knife. A nice thickness, 4 millimeters of the blade stock. Everything's artfully done. I think even Kirby's logo is just really cool, the way that's in script and with the spider there. Not sure of the meaning of the spider. Looks like a black widow, actually. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe you got to watch out for this knife because it bites like a spider. Anywho, that is my review and overview and unboxing on the Reate Mini Crossroads by Kirby Lambert. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click that button you see that looks like my logo right now. Take care.